I'm John David Smith, and welcome back to the CoMission Podcast. Someone has defined vision as that mental image of the thing that God wants to do in us and through us. Here in the bmaamissions department, I think we've been very clear on our mission, which is quite different than our vision. Our mission really never changes, and we never accomplish that. Our mission tells us what we are to be doing, and we know that we are to make disciples in all nations. Our vision, however, is quite different. We should accomplish our vision, and our vision should be renewed, and I think that's exactly where we are in our global missions program. We're at the point where we need a new word from God, or that new mental image of what God wants to do in us and through us. A vision, that thing that we desire of God because it is of God, that tells us that simply perpetuating forms, as we talked about in the last podcast, that simply do not fulfill our function is not good enough for us. We don't want to be about perpetuating systems and structures that are not allowing us to fulfill our purpose or to accomplish the vision that God has given us. We are quite sure here in the missions department, as we've dedicated these last few months of 2010 to praying and fasting for God to give us a new vision, that God is pointing us in the direction that is not a new message, but it is all about church planting for us. As we've seen church planting movements in our mission work in the international fields, we now desire to see a church planting movement here in North America. And what we're going to do in the future podcasts is we're going to elaborate for you some of the ways that we're going to reinvent ourselves, because we don't want to cast a vision that we don't have the substance to carry out that vision with. And so today our word is vision. I want you to join us in praying that God would give us a fresh word in that vision that God has for us. Thank you for joining us on the CoMission Podcast.